This episode of Profiles in Risk is sponsored by Zywave. Insurers, brokers, and agencies are facing escalating risk and rising complexity. Only Zywave delivers a performance multiplier, equipping you with the tools to get risk right, unlock efficiency, and scale at new speeds. Find out more at zywave.com.
Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas. Today I have with me Nishant Tomar, Chairman and CEO at DigsFact. Nishant, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. My pleasure. And according to LinkedIn, you are in Chicago area?
Yes, I'm, Chicago suburbs.
All right. So recording September 24th. I'm guessing this is kind of like the 2 nice weeks of fall you have before it's a frozen wasteland for the rest of the year.
Yep. We're counting days. Every day of nice weather is a blessing from now on.
That's the Midwest, and especially close to the lakes for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We always give the guest a chance to give the elevator pitch. What is DigsFact?
So we are basically leveraging AI to accelerate virtual inspections. Now, virtual inspections has multiple use cases. The one that we're focused on right now at the moment are underwriting inspections and claims inspections. And these can be for properties, vehicles, farm equipment, boats, all of the above.
Okay, so you can do property and vehicles and toys.
That is correct.
Okay. So are we talking like the client does the inspection with your app?
Yeah, so the way it works, we have been looking into this on how to improve the adoption for a long time, right? So we provide multiple channels. This can be done through policyholder. They can walk around. The simplest way is policyholder literally walks around and just captures either a video or a photo, whatever they want. We are flexible with both, so we're not rigid about whether it has to be photo or it has to be video. Videos obviously capture more data, but again, there is no restriction. Once they capture that, they can send it through some, if the insurance carrier has their own app or whatever channel they want to send it via email, however they are communicating with their carrier, insurance carrier, they can send it to them. That's one way, the easiest way that most policyholders, I would say, prefer and find it easy to use. Second one is the carrier, we have a link that can go to the policyholder so the carrier can embed that within their own app. We can do the integration. It's available through 𝗲𝗍𝗃 and CoreLogic. We are already partnered with both of them. So it can be accessible through that. And once that link is sent to the policyholder, they kind of follow the same process like capturing the video. Except that this time they're using the link, so it's telling them step by step, very prescriptive about what video to capture, what photos to take, depending on where the damage is, right? So it walks them through, is it exterior on the house? Is it interior or both? Is it, did your personal contents get damaged? And based on what they select, it builds a workflow of what videos and photos to take.
All right. About how long does it take?
So 90% of the time, the policyholder is done in less than 2 minutes, and our inspection report is available within a matter of seconds. It's all real time. There is no human element. We don't need 5 to 8 hours for somebody to do a quality check. It's literally happening by AI. This is true AI. So it happens instantly. It gets delivered multiple places. One is we, deliver the PDF inspection report via email to the person who requested it, company, and they decide where it goes. It can be a common email or adjuster's email or whatever. That's all configurable. Then it also goes to our web portal, as well as if they are leveraging 𝗲𝗍𝗃 or CoreLogic to initiate the whole process, then it will go directly into 𝗥𝗏𝗃 or sorry, it's not CoreLogic anymore. It's 𝗀𝗽liche and the claims workspace that they use.
Okay, so already integrated with 𝗥𝗏𝗃 and with 𝗵𝗶𝘀.
That is correct.
Okay, so on the carrier side, what do they get once the report comes in? Like how is it better than the world before?
Yeah, sure. So most of the carriers that we're talking about, I'll stick to one use case that way, and then we can talk about the other use case. Let's talk about claims, right? Which is what most of the carriers want to start the conversation with. Uh, First notice of loss is where the process begins. The policyholder notices, some damage. They call their carrier and they're like, hey, either call or app or whatever the channel is. They report the loss. Let's put it that way. Usually when they report the loss, pretty much even most of the carriers that we're talking to, large or small, the typical information there is obviously the policyholder information, name, address, blah, blah, date, time, right? But besides that, about the damage itself, it's usually a description that the policyholder described, either typed or verbally mentioned it, along with there may or may not be photos, raw photos. That's it, right? So that's what is currently being collected at first notice of loss. After that, the adjuster is assigned and the rest of the process follows, right? Estimating the claim, how much it's going to cost, blah, blah. With us, when they report that loss and they submit a video or a photo, from that, we can do a condition analysis and detect damages using our own proprietary AI. For most of the damages, we can also give them the dimensions of how large the damage is, the cause of the damage. Is it, if it's a mole or it's a crack, it can be multiple types of crack. Is it, potentially caused by water leak, or is it a structural issue that caused the crack? So we basically do some assessment of what the potential root cause can be. And then we also look at all the materials that are there and we create a list of every single material that is found on the image. So, wall is drywall and, ceiling is whatever, or bricks or cement or hardwood, laminate. We have improved our material detection over the course of last 3 years, I would say, more than 3 years, where now it can even differentiate between laminate and hardwood, which is very hard to achieve. I remember when we used to see photos of white wall with white sink and white pipe going on, we will get confused whether, what is what. Now it can be very precise in saying the white wall is a drywall, the white sink is, whatever ceramic, the white wall is PVC. So it's very accurate, like I said, over 97%.
So at this point, is it more accurate than a field claims adjuster?
I don't know their accuracy level, but pretty much what I'm trying to say with accuracy is you're going to know what material there is with a very high sense of confidence that you don't have to go on site to understand what the damage is, what the materials are, right? You get that upfront from the first notice of loss. So when the adjuster is assigned, thanks for bringing that up because I forgot to mention this, right? What does that do? Like having all this information. So what? The question is, okay, I have damage information. I have material information. So what? The main benefit is more than 50% of the claims are, I would say, I forget the exact number. It's either less than 5K or less than 10K. Like they're really simple, right? Just over half of the claims are simple claims. They can be estimated easily as long as you have reliable and enough sufficient information. So with this information, with our customers, what we're noticing, around 55% of the claims can be estimated without having anybody go on site for these simpler claims. So that saves a ton of money in the adjustment expense when you can skip that whole process and your desk adjuster can look at the damages, look at the measurement of the damages. It doesn't give you sketch, right? But it gives you the damages and how big the damage is, the size, the conditions, the materials, all of these things, which is good enough for them to determine, okay, it's going to cost this much.
Okay, so it makes it a lot cheaper to accurately adjust the claim. I'm guessing it also makes it a lot faster.
Exactly. From a homeowner perspective, right? Imagine, you report the claim today, and tomorrow they say, okay, we have the estimates ready. We can get the work started, right? That is a dream come true policyholder experience. I have been on the other side of it, which is why this whole journey of DigsFact really started when I filed a claim back in 2017. I remember waiting 18 days for this whole back and forth estimates. We don't have estimates. We're still working on it, this, that, right? Anyways, but yeah, within 24 hours, getting an estimate ready is a great policyholder, great claims experience that helps with not even lowering the cost, but also retaining your customers.
What is the implementation like?
Great question. Thanks. So there's again, totally depends on our customers. Some of our customers want to integrate it with their own systems, depending on what their tech landscape looks like. They may have their own, and they say, okay, here's the API endpoint. Can you just send all the output to this API? Others want to use the 𝗲𝗃𝗀 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀, and they say, you know what, we're just gonna, all it takes is just notify them, meaning 𝗲𝗃𝗀 𝗀𝗃𝗀, to activate DigsFact for those that customer, and now they can access us and assign the claims to us, meaning they will have access to our technology for that claim. And then the third option is, well, there's four options. Third option is white labeling. Some of the carriers say, okay, we want to white label this and that. And then the fourth one is just use it standalone. If it, again, depending on what kind of systems you have, you want to try it out maybe for the first year, you can use it standalone, get all these inputs, or even the first 3 months, you want to do a quick pilot, right? No integration needed, just try it out, see the benefits.
What is the pricing philosophy?
Pricing is basically per claim, right? But there is a minimum volume commitment. So the annual payment is calculated based on your annual volume of claims. The per claim price can also vary based on where your annual volume of claims are and at what level are you willing to commit.
Are you generally finding that the carriers that you're partnering with are sending kind of like all small claims, basically?
No. So even for larger claims, right? So we have had some instances where you still have to send the field adjuster, right? But before they go on site, if they have a really good idea of what am I expecting, what kind of damage it is from those videos that are submitted by whoever was on site, policyholder most likely, right? They go much better prepared, knowing what to expect. They know what the roof, let's say there is a roof damage from a store, right? They already know that the roof is, asphalt shingles, let's say, right? The siding is made of wood, right? So they can go much better prepared when they have all this information and they go on site, because they already knew that, the extent of damage on the roof is like whatever, 2 feet by 4 feet on one spot, and another spot is this, right? So they get that rough dimensions of the damage as well. That helps them get better prepared, and that also helps accelerate the claims life cycle.
All right, so even for the complex claims.
Yep.
All right, and personal and commercial doesn't matter. Buildings, okay, can do vehicles also. I'm always curious on the origin story. So you did mention that you had a claim yourself, but yeah, how did this come to be? How did you realize this was needed and that you were the right people to create it?
So, I mean, first was that whole frustration and pain, right? You go beyond, this was like Thanksgiving of 2017, right before that, a week before that, we had a really bad fire in our house. Luckily, nobody got injured. At that time, my 2 daughters were 5-year-old and 1-year-old, and I was traveling for work. I was not even in town. I was in the middle of a client meeting, I remember, on the East Coast. When my wife called, and the first time usually when my wife calls, I would message her back saying in a meeting, anything urgent. And then her phone call came right away as soon as I responded, and I knew something was urgent. So I stepped out. Anyways, long story short, I took the first flight here. Like I said, thank God nobody was injured, but it was really bad. It was not even, I was barely able to get inside the house. It smelled like smoke. You could not breathe inside. The firemen, kudos to them, great job. They were here in like minutes, my wife told me, to contain. Otherwise, this could have been much worse. But after that is what basically resulted in all of this, right? So after that, obviously I was on the phone with my carrier. We moved to a 1-room hotel nearby. So our kid, our older one was 5-year-old, so she could go to school and stuff. And every day I will be on the phone with my carrier saying, okay, I don't see any work going on. Like, how soon are we going to be able to get back to our normal life? And I will keep hearing in the beginning, like, yeah, we're waiting for the estimates. And obviously the first week goes by, you're like, okay, maybe this is the process, because I didn't have much claims experience. as a policyholder up until then, right? Being on the other side, I've worked with insurance carriers before then, so I knew the insurance industry. But anyways, this went on for almost 2.5, almost 3 weeks, 18 days, 2.5 weeks. And that was the first level of frustration where I was like, why would it take like this long? Like, what does it take to estimate the claim that it's taking this long? But still, I was not thinking about the business. I was still thinking about how can I move back to my life and get back to normal life. This was November, fast forward to March of 2018. So almost 4 months later, we moved back in the house, but the work was obviously still not done. I think by May, all of the work was done. And we were able to get back to the normal life. But the fact that no repair work was done in the first month itself is an example of how this whole thing could have been shortened by at least a month in the beginning, right? So that when I moved back, I'm like, okay, this cannot be real. So I started calling all my other friends, everybody who I knew, family. I'm like, anybody has filed claim before? Like, am I the odd one out here? And everybody started saying, you know what? No, I had a bad experience as well. It took a long time. I had a bad experience. Nobody told me they had a good experience, right? And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is like unheard of. That nobody's able to tell me a positive experience about their claims. And then, as in general, anytime there was a repair needed, there was this constant, estimate as a pain point in our mind anyways, because we would call like handyman and stuff, and they would always say, yeah, we will come and we'll take some pictures and we'll estimate. This sort of basically just pushed us over the edge, where it was like, you know what, something needs to be done. I didn't know what that something was, but June of 2018 I incorporated the company, just to basically say, you know what, let's do something about it. And then over the course of the year, I think I started working with, the local handyman I knew, anybody in the insurance industry I could get hold of, to launch our MVP. We launched it in 2019. Obviously, MVPs are meant to just, basically evolve. So we did a bunch of iterations. InstaBud that exists today, the InstaBud Classic, because we have varieties and flavors of InstaBud, was launched in December of 2020. Or Q4 of 2020. So it's almost 5 years basically. But that's the journey of how it came into existence. We were working very closely with the insurance carriers up front to understand exactly, what should the solution look like? How can it, accelerate, blah, blah, those things. And obviously, as we started working closely with the carriers to do these different pilots, after that, even after launching the product, that gave us more continuous feedback that kept the product evolving. So yeah, that's how the whole thing started.
All right, and how's been the reception by the industry? What do you generally hear from the clients, from the carriers?
So great question. So actually, I have some case studies on InstaBud. We actually, most recent ones we just finished, and I'm trying to remember the numbers, but it was pretty amazing. Like the customer could not believe how amazing the numbers were. Just some of the numbers that I remember, I'll tell you. The time to estimate a claim on average was cut short in 1/3, basically. Okay. That's how good, fast it was in terms of estimating the time. The 2-minute time that I'm telling you is from those pilots, the recent pilots, that 90% of the policyholders were able to capture and submit those videos and photos in under 2 minutes. The most important point, which we took it as a compliment, they couldn't believe the numbers. So they said, we're going to do a phase 2 of the pilot with higher volume. And just to see if you guys can, recreate the same effect with higher volume. We concluded that pilot in August, end of August. And the numbers came even better than the first one when the volume was higher. And that basically eliminated any doubt that our customer had about whether this can be accomplished and scalable and all of those things, right? So yeah, just to give you an idea, obviously there's always feedback during when we work with our customers. All the enhancements that we do are based on what our customers are telling us. So for example, before we only used to have a link that would be shared to a policyholder for capturing videos and photos. And we noticed that adoption was, pretty high, but still not like as high as we would want. It was around 80, 85%. And we're like, okay, what is going on with the other 50 to 20%? And what we learned was a lot of them either had taken photos and they didn't want to take, or they just didn't feel comfortable clicking on the link. It can be a variety of reasons, right? So we're like, okay, let's find a way to just even accept photos and videos if they sent it and they had taken it already from their regular camera. So that came from us working very closely with our customer. They said, hey, Nishant, is there any way that we could just submit the photos that our policyholders already sent us? And we made it happen. We launched that this summer, that enhancement around May, June. So now, anybody can upload photos that they receive directly from the policyholder, just as one example of the kind of enhancements we do working closely with our customers.
That's such an interesting example how it came from how do I put it? It is less technological to take the existing images than to walk the customer through doing it, but it's a great way to adapt to what the client actually needs.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the flexibility I think we need for higher adoption, right? I don't think it's ever going to be one size fits all because every customer is different, every policyholder is different. So they're always going to have their own opinion on what they want to use and how they want to use it. So we have to be flexible enough to allow for the intake process to come from all types of channels to be able to serve our customers and give them the benefit of faster claims cycle.
I think you had a great advantage compared to a lot of insurtech founders, which is that you had been an IT leader for a large carrier and then 5 years at a provider to the industry. So basically, you knew what you were getting into when it comes to how technology works and is implemented in our industry and how far behind we tend to be, how regulated we are, et cetera, compared to the many people we got 4 or 5 years ago coming in, creating insurtechs with no understanding of how technology actually works within insurance.
Yeah, that's true. I was fortunate. So yeah, that definitely helped. I won't say it didn't. Knowing what to expect, right, and how slow things move, and how there's a lot of different stakeholders that you need buy-in from all of them to get something like this in the house. Yeah, totally.
All right. So the company pretty mature by now for an insurtech, but going on 5 years. What are you excited about for 2026? Is there anything new coming down the pipeline, or at this point it's just a matter of expanding to more carriers, or kind of what's the near future looking like?
Yeah, it's always exciting when in the insurtech world. So yes, we are launching a few things. In Q4, a very cool feature actually, which I'm not gonna keep it as a suspense for now. But it's going to be launched in Q4, which kind of takes what we have and puts it on steroids. And 2026 is, we have some stuff on the roadmap again from what our customers are telling us. We are prioritizing it with them. What do you need in the next 3 months versus what's okay to have in the next 6 to 9 months? And then, we have actually recently gotten into some really exciting partnerships. So I'm really looking forward to how those new partnerships that we have gotten into in 2025 emerge, and then a lot of other partnership conversations are in progress that I can't wait to finalize in the coming months. So I'm hoping 2026 will be even better than 2025. So yeah, really excited.
All right, and are you playing only in the carrier space, or are you also offering it to the TPA market?
We are offering actually some of our customers are TPAs, IAs. So we are offering it to both TPAs, IAs, insurance carriers, even some of the restoration companies actually we're talking about. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So if you play anywhere in the claims space for physical claims, for property type claims.
Didn't understand the question.
Yeah, no, that was a question. It was a so basically for any
Oh,
part
I see. Yeah. All the players in the claim space.
ecosystem handling claims on physical things rather than liability type stuff.
Yep, exactly. Spot on.
Perfect. So yeah, that's a broad spectrum of claims that can benefit from this.
Yeah, and one cool thing that we have heard, and I don't know how much of it you are hearing, right? But when it comes to claims, like we talked to a few of our customers. Actually, it's the other way around. A few of our customers came to us and said, "Hey, properties and this is all great, but we also do farm equipments, and we're still doing the old-fashioned way of handling claims. So, what can be done there, right?" And this was, I think, last year, not this year. We had this very first conversation. So another example of like how our product is evolving. But that conversation basically led to a series of more conversations where, that allowed us to launch a solution for farm equipments and heavy equipments where, there is they're reporting a claim and you can actually either estimate it remotely or send your whoever is going in the very first time. They go much better prepared, and we have a lot of metrics around that as well, in terms of the acceleration in the claims lifecycle just by having that data upfront. So basically kind of doing a left shift of how quickly the data can be made available. And this is not just for personal. I mean, imagine a fleet of like those companies that have fleet of different either farm equipments, heavy equipments, or regular automobiles. And they are, renting it out, and they are the ones then who report a lot of these times the damages are in touch with the insurance company. Their job is, so much easier, and we have been fortunate enough to talk to them firsthand, just to get their experience when they first started using our product. How was it, and also understand what can be done better. And we're taking all of that back to our roadmap. So just want to give an example of like, some of the things that comes from conversations with different types of people in the claims ecosystem that allows us to continue to evolve and improve.
Perfect. Awesome. Very, very interesting stuff. It makes intuitive sense to me why it's a good idea for basically any claims department to
it's just on the claims side. This is not even talking about the whole same kind of pain point on the underwriting side.
So on the underwriting side, how is it being utilized?
So I think most of us have experience when we're shopping for insurance, right? Probably we go online, we fill out a few forms, right? Or we search like, whatever. Search the keywords, some websites pop up. They will ask you to fill out some forms about your property information, right? You fill it all out and you think you're done. And it'll tell you, oh, these are the companies that will give you the best rate or whatever, top 2, 3. And then obviously they start bombarding you with emails and phone calls and all these stuff which you have to give your email or phone number, one of the two, right? And then when you start talking to them, whichever company you decide to talk to, one or more, they start asking the same questions again, right? What you already filled out in the form. So I have asked them like, hey, just out of curiosity, I filled all these out in the form. Didn't you get that? And they're like, yeah, but we have to get this information again. I don't know what's the reality behind it. They didn't get it, or I'm guessing they didn't get it. Why would they ask the questions again? Like, and they would just verify it. But I spend another 10 to 20 minutes on the phone with each potential insurance company that I may get policy from, just to give all of this information again and more, right? And some of the answers I don't even know. Like they ask me, is your roof gable or this or that? And I'm like, dude, I don't know what that means. Like, I can send you a photo and you pick which roof it is, but I don't know what kind of roof is that. How many rooms, does have like this in it? And I'm like, okay, I have to walk around and see how many rooms. I don't remember off the top of my head, right? So all these questions that come up, first of all, it's painstaking. Second, most of the homeowners don't know the answer to these questions. So, that's the current process. That's why I talked about that part, right? And all of us have experienced that on the other side as policyholders who are shopping for insurance. Now, when you take that and think about how our product can be leveraged, if you as the homeowner just take 2 to 3 minutes and walk around and capture a video, and all you have to do is just submit the video. Don't submit anything, don't fill out any form, nothing, right? We will get the rest. The address and maybe the property address if they are not sharing their location. If they're sharing their location, then we can get that as well, right? So that's up to the user. But besides the property address, let's say worst case scenario, they're not sharing location, property address and the video, and that's it, they're done. We can get pretty much every single piece of information and more, right? So everything that is filled out in the form is available in those videos and photos, right? On top of that, if there is any existing signs of damage, if there is mold being built up in the corner of the ceiling, right? Or in the bathroom somewhere, if there is small cracks on the ceiling that, may be happening because of water leakage or whatever. All these you will never find out, but we will from that video, and we will instantly generate those as like, hey, these are the damages we identified. These are the materials. Another question about materials when they ask, and I have no idea how to answer those because I don't know what those materials are, right? Our AI will tell the insurance companies what those materials are, whether it's the roof or the floor or the countertop or whatever, right? So it basically is not only a great customer experience where they don't have to keep repeating themselves for every carrier that they shop for, right? But also it helps speed up the whole process and provides much more informed decision for the carrier to say, you know what, my risk is more because I see a lot of, this, that damage, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or they can say, yeah, you know what, actually this house looks in really good condition. I feel comfortable. So it's a more informed decision than just based on vague description of a house and what year it was built and how long ago your roof was replaced, It can be replaced like 5 years ago, but maybe last year there was a hailstorm and there is already hail damage on it, right? So it's things like that that will never come up. And with us, it's like all of that through a 2 to 3 minute video, you can actually come up with a really detailed inspection report, and you can use that to generate code for new policies. And then same thing for policy renewal. Like at the end of the year, you just ask your policyholders, hey, just send us a video, a 2 minute video of your house, and they can tell, rather than generalizing based on the zip code, we had a higher number of claims in this zip code, so we're going to jack up the price for everyone, right? It can be more personalized to say, hey, these were the houses that I can compare from last year to this year, and I can give them maybe incentives or discounts because they maintained well, or it has gone down significantly, so I'm going to increase the premium more for this. So, it can be more informed decision on what the premium can be just from a simple 2 minute video rather than vague descriptions of what my property looks like.
Better for better customer experience, better underwriting quality, and a faster process, and I'm a more detailed, specific to this property.
Yep. And most of the insurance companies, it's not like they don't want that information. The reason they don't do it is because there is no ROI for them because the cost has been too high for inspections, right? For claims, there is an ROI, but for underwriting, they just cannot afford to spend hundreds of dollars on inspecting every single. So they usually do it for like certain 5% or certain small percentage of the property, right? With this, because we have commoditized it, it's literally like, few dollars that you pay for this kind of inspection report. So very high ROI, right? It's very cost effective. So it's not an affordability question. It has the data that you need. Literally, you can apply it to every single policy that you're issuing a premium quote on.
Fantastic. Yeah, as a former underwriter, so I did middle market for Liberty. There we did a lot of inspections because it's big buildings, but I did farm for Nationwide Ag, And there we only sent inspections if the homes were like $1 million.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Exactly.
Because it was like $400 for the inspection.
Yeah.
So yeah, being able to do it over your whole portfolio,
Yeah.
that should be a game changer over time.
Yep.
Fantastic. Nishant, thank you for your time today. When this goes live, I'll tag you on LinkedIn and tag the company. And yeah, it's great stuff.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation. Obviously, you have deep insurance background, so always, a pleasure to talk to somebody else who has been there and understands these pain points. So, enjoy the conversation and look forward to meeting you at ITC. I'm guessing you'll be there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.